Have you ever woken up, looked around, and thought, what now? Maybe you've spent years raising a family, building a career, giving your all, and suddenly the busy calendar is empty, the phone doesn't ring as much, and the days feel just a little quieter than before. It's not that you don't appreciate the rest. Retirement is supposed to be a reward, right? But for many people, especially after the first year or two, retirement starts to feel like floating in open water without a compass. Free, yes, but also aimless. And if that sounds even a little familiar, I want you to know this. You're not alone. And more importantly, it doesn't have to be that way. You see, the end of a career is not the end of your story. It's simply the beginning of a new chapter. One where you get to write the rules. This time, not for a boss, not for a paycheck, and not even for your family, for you. But regaining control of your life after retirement isn't about filling your time. It's about feeling useful, free, and alive again. And that's what we're going to talk about today. This is about more than staying busy. It's about reconnecting with a sense of purpose, rebuilding confidence, and reigniting that spark that makes you feel like you again. There are 6 simple but powerful steps that can help you feel both useful and free after retirement. Let's start from the very beginning. And it begins inside. It starts with shifting your mindset. For so long, your identity may have been tied to what you did. Maybe you were a teacher, an engineer, a manager, or a caregiver. But now, without that title, it's easy to feel like you've lost something. That's a natural feeling. But here's the truth. Who you are has always been more important than what you did. And this stage of life gives you the space to rediscover that. This is the perfect moment to pause and ask yourself, not what am I supposed to do now, but what do I want? Maybe you want to give back. Maybe you want to learn something new. Maybe you just want to wake up and feel excited again. It's okay if you don't have the answer right away. Just starting with curiosity, that gentle question of what would make me feel more alive, is a huge step toward taking back control. Now, once you've started to shift that internal narrative, the next step is just as powerful, movement. And no, I don't mean running marathons or hitting the gym every day, unless that's your thing. I'm talking about simply getting your body in motion in a way that feels good. Our bodies were built to move. And when we stop moving, both physically and mentally, we start to shrink. Not just in muscle or flexibility, but in spirit. Something as simple as a morning walk, stretching to your favorite music, or dancing in the living room can reset your whole day. It helps your brain, your joints, your mood, and maybe most importantly, it gives your day structure. A reason to get up and go somewhere, even if it's just around the block. But movement also does something else. It gives you momentum, and momentum is key. Because when you're moving, even a little, you're signaling to yourself that you're still in motion, still living, not just existing. And here's the beautiful part. That momentum carries over into other areas of your life. You may find yourself feeling more creative, more open to trying new things, or more motivated to reconnect with old friends. Which brings us to the next vital part of this journey, connection. Now, you might be thinking, I have fewer people around me now. And that's common. As we age, circles change, friends move away, loved ones pass on, and it's easy to fall into isolation without even realizing it. But here's the thing. Human beings don't stop needing connection just because we've retired. In fact, we may need it even more, not just for companionship, but for meaning. Whether it's joining a local group, volunteering at a nearby school or library, or even attending community classes, you'd be amazed at how many people out there are also looking to reconnect. And you don't have to be a social butterfly. Even one or two genuine, meaningful interactions a week can shift how you feel about yourself and your life. When we engage with others, we get to share our wisdom, our humor, our kindness. We get to be needed again. And more importantly, we get to remember that we still have so much to give. And when you combine that with movement and a new sense of purpose, things start to click. It's not about filling the calendar. It's about filling your soul. Now, we've touched on mindset, movement, and connection. And already, you can start to see how these simple shifts can bring so much life back into your days. But we're not stopping there, because there's still more to uncover. Let's keep going, because the next steps will build on this momentum in a way that might just surprise you. When you've begun to feel that shift, when your body is moving, your mind is opening, and you're reconnecting with others, something subtle starts to happen. The fog begins to lift. But regaining control of your life isn't just about moving forward. It's also about letting go. And one of the most overlooked steps to feeling free after retirement is learning how to release the guilt of slowing down. For decades, many of us were trained to go, to hustle, to always be productive. So now, even when we've earned the right to rest or move at our own pace, that voice still lingers in the back of our minds, whispering, "You should be doing more." But here's the truth you need to hear today. Slowing down doesn't mean giving up. It means choosing how to spend your energy on your terms. You don't have to fill every hour with tasks to prove your worth. You already are worthy. Every moment doesn't need to be scheduled. Some of the most beautiful parts of life now are the quiet ones. Morning sunlight over a cup of tea, tending to a small garden, or even just sitting outside and watching the world move around you. Letting go of that inner pressure can be one of the most freeing things you ever do. It allows you to rediscover joy and simplicity, and to recognize that peace is not laziness, it's a gift. And when you stop feeling guilty for resting, something magical happens. Space opens up for creativity to return, which brings us to something truly powerful: exploration. Now, when we're younger, life pushes us forward whether we're ready or not. School, work, family, there's always something demanding our attention. But now, in this season of your life, you get to explore things not out of obligation, but out of curiosity. That's where freedom begins. Maybe you've always wanted to learn how to paint, or write, or play the piano. Maybe you used to love photography, or woodworking, or baking, but haven't made time for it in years. Or maybe you're ready to try something completely new. Something that makes your brain stretch in a way it hasn't in a long time. You're never too old to start learning, never too old to try, and never too old to discover that spark of inspiration again. And no, you don't have to become an expert. You don't need to turn it into a side hustle or impress anyone. You're doing this for you, to feel lit up, to feel playful, to feel alive. Exploration keeps the mind fresh and the heart light. It also reminds you that life hasn't stopped offering new experiences. It's just waiting for you to say yes to them. Now, as you begin exploring, reconnecting, and letting go of old expectations, there's another shift that naturally starts to happen. Your days feel more meaningful, and that's no accident. That's because you've started putting your energy into things that bring value to you. And here's the real magic. That value often flows outward too. Which brings us to something incredibly important: contribution. You might not realize this, but your wisdom, your experience, your presence is a powerful thing. You've lived through decades of changes, lessons, and challenges. And what you know could help someone else right now. You don't have to be a teacher to share what you've learned. Maybe it's a conversation with a younger neighbor who's struggling. Maybe it's mentoring someone who's just starting out. Maybe it's volunteering your time once a week at a place that matters to you. Not out of obligation, but because you want to be part of something again. When we contribute, when we offer something of ourselves, no matter how small, we are reminded that we still have purpose. And purpose is fuel. It's what gets us out of bed in the morning. It's what keeps loneliness at bay. And it's what brings back that sense of control. Not control in the rigid sense of planning everything perfectly, but control in the sense that your life has direction again. Not because someone else is steering, but because you're choosing where to go. And here's what's beautiful about all of this. Every one of these steps feeds the next. When you shift your mindset, you make room for movement. When you start moving, you open up space for connection. With connection comes exploration. With exploration comes peace. And with peace, you begin to contribute in ways that feel natural, meaningful, and fulfilling. So if you've ever had a day where you thought, I don't know what I'm doing anymore, or I just feel invisible, I want you to remember this. Your story isn't over, far from it. In fact, some of the richest, most meaningful chapters are just beginning. There's no perfect timeline, no right or wrong way to go about it, but there is a path, and you're already walking it just by showing up here today. Let's keep going. Now that you've begun to feel that shift, that sense of curiosity again, that hint of direction returning, let's talk about something that often gets brushed under the rug, but can be a powerful source of control and freedom in retirement. Boundaries. Yes, even now, setting boundaries matters deeply. In fact, it might matter more than ever before. You see, in earlier chapters of life, we often said yes to everything. Yes to overtime. Yes to helping everyone else. Yes to whatever life demanded, even if it drained us. And maybe, just maybe, we forgot how to say no without guilt. But retirement offers something rare: the chance to protect your time, your space, and your peace. It's okay to say no to things that don't bring joy or purpose. You don't have to attend every family gathering if it wears you out. You don't have to answer every phone call or host every holiday. It's not selfish, it's self-respect. When you protect your time, you make room for the things that matter. The quiet mornings, the books you've wanted to read for years, the walks that aren't rushed, the moments that feel like yours again. And guess what happens when you have that space? Clarity begins to emerge. You start recognizing what lifts you up and what drags you down. And with that clarity, your days start to feel lighter, more intentional. But boundaries aren't just about saying no to others. Sometimes they're about saying no to the thoughts in our own heads. That little voice that says, it's too late for me. I don't matter anymore. I'm just wasting time. If that voice has been whispering to you, I want you to know this: it's lying. Your time is not up. You are not invisible. And every day you wake up is another day you can decide to live boldly, freely, and fully, in whatever way you choose. And here's something truly powerful to remember. Freedom doesn't have to be loud. It doesn't always look like travel or skydiving or grand adventures. although it can be. Sometimes it's simply the joy of choosing how to spend your morning, the quiet confidence of knowing you don't need to prove anything to anyone. Because control, in the truest sense, isn't about controlling everything around you. It's about reclaiming your relationship with yourself. And that brings us to the final step, perhaps the most important one of all: self-compassion. We talk a lot about purpose, movement, mindset, but at the root of it all is how you treat yourself, especially in moments of doubt, loneliness, or frustration. You've carried so much through life. You've weathered storms, raised families, built careers, helped others. And yet, we can still be so hard on ourselves, can't we? But what if, just for today, you extended the same kindness to yourself that you've given to so many others? What if, instead of saying, "I should be doing more," you said, "I've done enough for today, and that's okay"? What if you looked in the mirror and instead of noticing the wrinkles or the gray, you saw a face full of stories, of survival, of strength? Self-compassion is not weakness. It's not indulgence. It's the foundation of freedom. Because once you stop fighting yourself, you can finally be yourself. And that's where the magic lives. Now, you might be wondering, is it really that simple? Just these few steps: mindset, movement, connection, exploration, boundaries, self-compassion, and I'll feel better? The truth is, it's not about doing them all perfectly. It's about starting. It's about trying. It's about showing up for yourself little by little every day. And no, not every day will feel easy, but every small step you take builds something beautiful. A life that is yours again, not defined by your job, your age, or your past, but by what you choose now. So I want to leave you with this. You are still writing your story, and you don't need anyone's permission to make it beautiful, bold, and deeply your own. Take that walk, start that project, say no, say yes, sit in silence, laugh too loudly, wear the clothes you love, eat the cake, sleep in, speak your truth, rest when you're tired, dance if you want, begin again as many times as you need to. You've earned the right to live freely, but more than that, you deserve it. If this message spoke to you today, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. What's one thing you're going to reclaim this week? Your time, your energy, your joy? Let's talk about it below. You're not alone on this journey. And if you found this video helpful or inspiring, give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more encouraging, practical content created just for you. Because retirement isn't the end of the road. It's just the beginning of a brand new adventure. Here's to living your best life, at any age.